My name is Darlene, and I'm a survivor of intimate partner violence. Years ago, I met Ross. He was funny, handsome, outgoing, and he adored my dog Peanut. Everyone thought he was the perfect guy, including me. Ross made me feel special, telling me how beautiful and smart I was. My friends liked him. My family welcomed him. Ross confided that his past was painful. An abusive father, years of struggle, and recovery from alcohol addiction. My heart went out to him, and I promised to always be there. Shortly after we met, Ross asked me to move in with him. It felt like the natural next step. Peanut and I were really excited, so we packed up and moved in. In the beginning, everything seemed perfect, but slowly, small things started to change. He didn't like my makeup, my clothes, my hair. He didn't like that I spent time with friends. He accused me of flirting or cheating, which was completely not true. I tried to stand up to him. He didn't like that, and he'd get even angrier. When his temper flared, I became afraid and couldn't help but cry. Then he'd apologize, and eventually things would go back to being wonderful. Then it would happen all over again. As the years went by, Ross and I started a family and had 2 children. I worked hard to appease him, to make sure nothing upset him, and to make a happy home for our new family. When Ross lost his job, he said we needed a fresh start, somewhere new. So I quit my job, packed up the house, the kids, the dog, and we moved to a new town. Ross never found work, and soon he stopped looking. I got a part-time job and took on extra work just to keep us afloat. Ross started drinking again, and the stress kept building. One day I was working at home. Ross was watching TV, the volume up loud. The kids were outside in the yard, and I asked Ross to turn it down. Without warning, Ross hurled a bottle across the room, and it struck me in the side of the head. I fell to the floor, dazed and bleeding. The TV was still blaring. Ross rushed to my side, apologizing, swearing that he never meant to do it and it would never happen again. I wanted to believe him, but it did happen again. And again, and again. If I got lost driving, he'd slap me. If I bought the wrong groceries, he'd explode. When the rage passed, he'd bring me gifts or flowers, telling me how sorry he was, how much he loved me, how much he needed me. It became a cycle. Tension, violence, remorse, calm. And then it would start all over. The children learned early how to avoid setting him off. We all lived in fear, walking on eggshells constantly. Some days he'd smash furniture or punch holes in the wall, and other days we would have a really fun family time playing together. It was very confusing for the children, and for me. But we were all terrified of his anger. One thing Ross started to hold over me was the threat that if I ever told anyone what was happening, he would kill me, kill the kids, and kill the dog. This was beyond terrifying. I told myself it was safer to stay quiet. I couldn't believe this was my life. One night, after a particularly violent outburst, a neighbor overheard and called the police. Ross was arrested. While he was in custody, I was told about a safe place operated by Victoria Women's Transition House, where I could go with the children. That was my chance to escape. I took my kids and the dog and fled to the emergency transition house. Once we were safely there, a worker from the Regional Domestic Violence Unit called me. They were amazing. They listened to my story without judgment, recorded my statement, and put together enough evidence to bring serious criminal charges against Ross. Ross always said no one would believe me, but now, someone truly did. Since then, the children got help from the Victoria Women's Transition House, Peace Children Who Witness Abuse counselors, and I went to the support group in the Stopping the Violence program. We learned that the abuse we experienced was not our fault, and I regained a sense of safety and control in our lives, something I haven't felt in many years. Now the kids and I live in an affordable, second-stage housing program. They're in a new school, and I have made new friends. I can hear them playing and laughing again, now without fear. Sometimes I just listen to their giggles and think how lucky we are to find this place. My story isn't just about abuse. It's about reclaiming freedom, finding courage, and teaching my children that love should never hurt. Thank you, Victoria Women's Transition House.